Hello and welcome back, and that's right, today I want to talk about external graphics cards because this video didn't start out this way. Originally I was going to make a video reviewing this. This is the GMKtec AD-GP1, an external Radeon Graphics 7600 graphics card. That's the 7600 MXT, and this allows you connecting via Oculink to add this not only as an external graphics card but also as a larger docking station, allowing you via that single connection or connecting it alongside USB 4 to add a bunch of connectivity and of course enhance graphics with an 8GB external GPU card. Now, this was going to be a review. I tested it. I spent ages testing it and connecting it with an Oculink system in order to bench test its performance. And as you'll be unsurprised to hear, it did enhance a lot of the graphical capabilities. All of the benchmarks that I utilized with benchmarking tools were absolutely great. This is not going to be that video though. This review, because I'll tell you right now, thanks again for sending GMKtec for sending this device. It is a great graphics card. It's much smaller than another GPU card that I tested here on the channel from NAScompares, and the fact that it rolls in all of those connections there while maintaining a decent temperature, I was really happy with. So again, I recommend it. There will be a review below and we will refer to this throughout the course of the video. But this video is about something bigger than that, and that is the big problem with external graphics cards and how to solve it. What is the big problem? The big problem is this right here, Oculink. Now, Oculink is something I've praised on the channel a great deal. It's allowing for much greater bandwidth for connected devices external to your system, and particularly given the preponderance of mini PCs entering the marketplace right now, where space is limited, the idea of utilizing something like Oculink to add a huge amount of scalability to your system via PCIe, not just for graphics cards, but also for other things, has to be praised. However, when it comes to external graphics cards, we also have to acknowledge the logic in the room, and that is most systems that feature Oculink in the first place are generally quite powerful, regardless of whether they're utilizing mobile SoC processors from AMD or Intel, or they are fully fledged desktop models. Any system that features Oculink is generally already pretty powerful indeed. When I've looked at other brands, not just GMKtec, but looked at NAScompares, looked at Ustor, looked at other brands that have products that have Oculink ports on the rear, generally you find that they're already decent enough that the actual performance boost that the eGPU is bringing you, although significant in terms of graphics, isn't big enough that the mini PC that you're buying that's already pretty expensive with Oculink didn't make you think, I should have bought something where I could have put a graphics card in the first place. And this is something I think we need to talk about, because Oculink and external GPUs are bloody good things. And I'll say right now, the fact that this is both an external graphics card and a widespread docking station is definitely appealing. This is coming with me to Computex, by the way, so I can have a lighter laptop to get the job done. But I still had to buy a 750 nickel laptop in order to take advantage of Oculink. So that's the big problem that no one really talks about. But this video isn't just about problems, it's about solutions. Now, it may sound counterintuitive, but it's actually very easy to add Oculink to a non-Oculink system using PCIe upgrades. Here are two great ones. This is one we featured here on the channel before, and this takes advantage of M.2 and allows you to add Oculink. It even supplies the power. Now, this is at Gen 4 times 4 rather than times 6 speed, or 64 gigabits per second. This instead runs at 40 gigabits per second if you've got a Gen 4 times 4 slot. And you can pick up Gen 4 times 4 ready mobile kind of portable NAS systems, I would say, and of course systems like these mini PCs that we talked about, and again GMKtec have got a bunch of them themselves, for about 200 to 300 nickel. And some of these systems have got multiple M.2 slots. That means that one of those M.2s can be occupied with this, and even if your system does not have Oculink, this allows you to take advantage and use up one of your Gen 4 M.2 NVMe slots and add Oculink with ease. And as this external GPU has its own external PCIe, you don't even need to worry about power being delivered from the mini PC. Ultimately, this opens the door to much more significant gains being made with an eGPU, but it doesn't stop there. We went ahead and installed an M.2 to Oculink connection on boards like this. This runs on an N100. That is a 4-core comparative to Celeron processor, the Alder Lake series. There's even an 8-core processor, the N305, or more recently the N355, which are nowhere near the distribution comparable to a system that would have native Oculink there on board. Now, there are restrictions, of course. The M.2s on this, for example, are at ×1 speed. Some of these you can get at ×2, and that's Gen 3. So it significantly reduces the bandwidth there, rather than this card here, which can open the door towards 40 gigabits. These M.2 slots here sit here at 10 gigabit or 1 gigabyte per second. Nevertheless, that still provides a significant amount of bandwidth here for this GPU. Now, yes, you are now capping this card significantly compared to what it potentially could have been, down from 64 gigabit down to 10 gigabit, but it still means that with adapters like this, which by the way retail for around 5 to 10 nickel, will allow you to add an external GPU like this one, and remember, an external docking station like this one, in fact, to add more ports, more connections, and the whole thing filtering via one of those M.2s. You can get 4-port M.2 cards with ease here. Moreover, if you've only got one M.2 slot that's being occupied by an SSD that's running your operating system, never fear, you can also get hold of adapters that convert some of the Wi-Fi key port on your system to M.2. Now, of course, this even further reduces the bandwidth allocation to adding an Oculink adapter like this one, but still nonetheless, it does still allow for some of the graphical performance of this to be achieved. It will be bottlenecked, of course, in those scenarios, but it still means that eGPUs are no longer at least via Oculink, no longer limited to just deployment within those, frankly, middle to higher tier systems that arrived with Oculink in the first place. Furthermore, even if you're running a system that isn't even a mini PC, has PCIe upgrades, but still doesn't have Oculink, but doesn't have the space for a traditional graphics card, you can then take advantage of PCIe to Oculink adapters. These have started arriving and are actually surprisingly popular, knocking out for as low as $10 to $12. These allow you, if you've got a small, real low space PCIe slot, to add this, run yourself your Oculink cable, and then immediately add those GPU capabilities there with something like the AD-GP1. Ultimately, external graphics cards taking advantage of Oculink is a good thing, and this is a great external docking station and graphics card combined into one. But I will say we need to be more clear, and by we, by the way, I mean brands, have to be clearer that adding Oculink and the assisted graphic upgrades isn't as straightforward as most people think, when the base level systems that have it by default are generally more expensive and typically more powerful than most out there. So looking at upgrades like the ones we've talked about today allow you to really make the most of these in the convenient, easy and flexible way that the brands talk about so much. Let me know what you guys think below. Again, thank you so much for GMKtec for supplying the eGPU for today's video. It's linked in the description below, along with a few other videos and articles on this subject. So do use those links to get hold of one of these for yourself if you plan on buying one and you found this video helpful. Make sure those two things are true, because using those links results in a small commission to me and Eddie here at NAScompares that allows us to keep doing what we do. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.